Hello and welcome back to the channel. Down in Texas, they are experiencing the deep freeze just like the rest of the country. And for millions of Texans, they are without power. Some have even said as they are without power, that leaves them without heat. They can't heat their house in many cases. Okay. Others have said that they are now without water. So no heat, no electricity, no water in the middle of this deep freeze. That makes for a very, very rough and tough situation. There are reported deaths as well, as many people were not prepared for this. Now, over the years, we've talked about a number of different things concerning being prepared or looking at natural disasters and how do we deal with these natural disasters. Most people don't think about it because for the most part, we're just used to life just going the way it should. And so we just go along with the flow as well. That's how most people in this country think. We're used to hearing about things that are happening in other areas, other countries. And so we don't think about the fact that winter can come upon us like this and just boom, out of the blue, emergency situations arise. Literally across country, there has been this deep freeze that most are not used to. Now, of course, there are areas where it's not so bad, where they're just experiencing a little bit of cooler weather, but it's not like those who have experienced the deep freeze, those who have experienced everything being out, power, water, heat, everything in the middle of winter. So a lot of people are down in Texas resorting to using their cars to heat their families. One person said on a news broadcast or a news show that they have gathered inside of their cars, turn it on, get the heat going, and that is where they have to spend a lot of their time just to stay warm. So why am I talking about this? A lot of us are going through this deep freeze, but I'm talking about this because there is a mindset that needs to be established, period, and across the board. That it doesn't have to be a deep freeze. It can be any natural disaster, meaning something that is brought on by our Creator that is out of our control. Of course, power companies try to do all that they can to restore power, restore heat, and do all of that kind of stuff. But sometimes it is just not possible. Sometimes it's out of their hands. Down in Texas, they said they had a failed power grid, and this has created a lot of chaos in the region for people who were not used to this. Now, of course, there's been snow in Texas before, but some people have said that they've never seen it on this scale for this long. And so I'm talking about this is because we've got to get back into a prairie mindset. I've said that many times on this channel that back during the Little House on the Prairie days, these people had a mindset of survival in any kind of situation. Of course, they had their things that they went through that they weren't able to deal with. But for the most part, they understood preparation. And if you're in a situation where everything that your life depends on comes from outside of you, then that is a bad situation to be in. Anybody at any given time could be faced with something that is out of their control. We understand that. But something on a mass scale like this, I think since society in general has kind of taken a back seat to their own survival. Why would I say they've taken a back seat? I say this because most Americans, not just Black Americans, you have some people who think that only Black people can't survive these situations. But most people, whether Black, white, Asian, Latino, when natural disaster happens, anyone could experience a rough and tough situation. And the majority of people depend on someone outside of them to fix the situation. And so this means that instead of us waiting for things to happen, because this is not the only thing, like I said before, this is not the only natural disaster that can happen. You have tornadoes, you have hurricanes, you have all kinds of things, windstorms, ice storms. You have pandemics. All kinds of things could upset the comfort that you live in. There are a number of things that can present themselves in your own individual life that could just totally devastate how you operate on a day-to-day basis. No one is untouchable. Many of us have been touched by things that are just really difficult to deal with, but you have those who have never been touched by anything. And so they never think of preparation. There are some things that we already know that have been prophesied that are going to shake the whole foundation of the earth. Some people don't want to talk about that stuff, don't even want to think about it. They think it's fear-mongering. But why wait till those things happen and then try to all of a sudden jump in line and say, hey, we got to do this, we got to do that? Why wait for that stuff to happen? Do all that you can now. I know that there are some things that can happen that there is no amount of preparation that will get you through it. I already know this, right? But if there is something you can do about your situation right now, do all that you can instead of waiting until the crap hits the fan. I'm done with this video. In the comment section, tell me your thoughts below. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, share and like this video, and with that, I'm out. Be sure to ring the bell to be notified of new uploads on this channel, and also comment, share, like, and subscribe.